welcome to A Taste of Tyria, the only cooking show that teaches you how to bring the far-flung flavors of Guild Wars straight into your home kitchen. I'm Jennifer Hale, Queen Jenna, and Queen of Charcoal for this special episode. Plan on playing host to ravenous feline humanoid warriors sculpted by a culture of war. Or scarier, perhaps a gathering of your hungriest friends. Well, you're in luck. Today, we're going to teach you how to grill up your very own CHARR-B-Q. From refreshing libation to seasonal dessert, this is going to be a backyard party fit for an army. Let's check out today's menu. For sides, we have a garlic spinach sauté, yummy coleslaw, which will all be heaped around the main course, grilled Minotaur kebabs. And for dessert, we'll be mashing up our very own home instance-made cinnamon applesauce. A great cookout starts with planning ahead. We are going to start with the kebab marinade. Letting your Minotaur and veggies marinate overnight makes them tastier, easier to cook, and it's one less thing you have to do on the big day. All right, let's see what we're going to need. 3/4 of a cup of teriyaki sauce. 3/4 of a cup of honey. Yum. This is awesome locally sourced honey. My favorite kind. Look at that. It's like awesome magic yummy paste. So good. All right. Then we do a teaspoon of garlic powder. You can just kind of eyeball that a little bit. There we go. A teaspoon of garlic powder. And a pinch of ground ginger. Now, I love ginger, so my pinch is a pretty big pinch. There we go. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. All right, you want to stir that up. That honey can be a little sticky, so you want to give it a minute to really mix it together. All right, there we go. Oh, yeah. You want it all to be the same consistency through the whole mix. Victory. Okay. Now, set the bowl aside. We're going to use a bag or two for the meat to marinate in the fridge. So if you're feeling brave, you could mix this right in the bag, but I just find it's easier to put it in a bowl and mix it up there first. All right, so good kebabs come from good meat. I find that Alpine Minotaur tastes best. I think the extra fat they pack on trying to stay warm helps make the meat extra tasty. But any kind of Minotaur will do. If you're not up to questing into the Shiver Peaks this time, ask your butcher for a 2.5-pound cut of sirloin. All right, you probably guessed the next step is to cut the Minotaur meat into cubes. But the size of the cubes is key. Too small and your precious meat will burn. Too large and your perfect looking kebabs will be raw in the middle. Bleh. 2-inch cubes are ideal. So slice it right here. You need to really get in there and get all the way through that cut. Beautiful pieces of fat here. Do about a 3-bob. And it's never going to be perfectly symmetrically 2-inch squares all around, but just guesstimate it. Just guesstimate it there. Bring that baby in. Oh yeah, that's about right. Don't be like me. Don't chop your fingers off. I have more scars on these babies than you can count. All right, there we go. Oh, so yummy. All right, get your little funny pieces done. This guy. This guy and this last one. I leave it a little longer, a little oversized for the rarer bits and a little undersized for the more well-cooked bits. All right, now, done with that, you take the raw meat. Now, a little trick I have is I flip these bags inside out, and it makes its own little opening. Ah, I am your friend. Okay, throw the meat in the bag, in your friend's mouth. All right. Set it aside. It kind of holds itself up when you do that, and the marinade won't spill everywhere. All right, veggies are up next. Now, obviously you're not going to get cubes out of vegetables, and if you do, hey, I want to see that. But you don't have to dice it or chop it. They just have to be the right size to go onto a skewer. Let's see, if I had a third hand, I'd like pick this one up too and go, see, we're friends, we're going on the skewer. All right, you can toss, wrong bowl. You can toss the veggies right into the bag with the Minotaur. Now, if you have any Solvari or vegetarians attending your CHARR-B-Q, set some vegetables aside in their own meatless bag. They'll be almost as yummy on their own. All right, so let's put some veggies in here with this. Just kind of want to balance it out, whatever you can picture on a skewer to go with those. think I'll do these guys. And if you're partial to one vegetable over another, throw a little extra in there because it's always good to taste it as it goes. All right. Now, if you're like me and you mixed up your marinade in a separate bowl, this is the time when you want to dump it in here on top. If you're using multiple bags, just split up the marinade between the bags. You can figure it out. You'll figure out how much goes in each one. All right. And you want to seal it up. I like to get a lot of the air out. Just marinade's better. Seal that baby up. Listen for the click. There it was. Shake, 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 shake. Make sure the marinade gets all over everybody. All right. Oh yeah, oh yeah. See? Everyone is happily dunked in marinade. They only need to marinate a few hours in a time crunch, but overnight is really the best way to let the flavors soak in all the way. Okay, it's your CHARR-B day. We have got a lot to do. Let's get to work on some sides. Because it can sit and get tastier while you cook the rest, let's start with the coleslaw. Here is everything you're gonna need. I know, you can't really tell what it all is. I'll tell you. 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 cup of mayonnaise, 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar, 1 teaspoon of celery seed, 1 carrot, salt and pepper to taste, and of course, 2 heads of cabbage. Artisan tip. For the best tasting cabbage, I recommend growing it yourself in your home instance. Or if you have more of a wilted yellow digit than a green thumb, you can harvest some wild cabbage from the heretic plain. Heretical cabbage. Now keep in mind that what you see here is enough to serve about 12 people or 6 char or 2 dozen asura. Feel free to double or halve the recipe to fit your needs using math. You'll want to start by shredding the cabbage into a large bowl. Now, I don't shred well, so I prefer to get some scrits to do it. Now, if you grate it too fine, or if they grate it too fine, the coleslaw is going to turn out mushy. So you want to use the biggest setting on the grater. Well, gauge setting. You get the idea. To add some color, grate equal parts green and red cabbage. Little known fact, red cabbage, it's actually purple. You'll want 6 cups of shredding cabbage total. Ta-da! Next, we're going to add the carrot. Now, you could grate the carrot, but it's a little tricky. Sometimes I end up grating my finger. Very, very painful. You'll have better luck with a good old-fashioned vegetable peeler. Now, the recipe calls for 1 cup of shredded carrot, but the balance is up to you. Coleslaw is basically a salad, after all. Feel free to add more carrots or hold them out all together. Your call. Your coleslaw. Before adding it to the shredded cabbage and carrot, we're going to make dressing in a smaller, separate bowl. All right, here we go. We're going to toss in 1 cup of mayonnaise. All right, mayonnaise down, mayonnaise in. All right, then we're going to follow it up with 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar. All right, then we want to do just a teaspoon of celery seed. For that, I kind of do it in my hand like that. You can kind of tell what's a teaspoon. All right. Then you want to add salt and pepper to taste. I do just a little bit of pepper. Beep, beep, beep. Sound effects once again. And I'm a salt girl, so I had a good sized pinch of salt. Oh, this salt is amazing. All right. Stir it up till it's all the same consistency. Ooh, gooey, splashy, yummy, gooey goodness. All right, just like the marinade, you want to keep smushing and smushing and smushing because, I don't know, chunks of mayonnaise in my coleslaw, kind of gross. Ooh. Splash girl, splash girl. Oh, I'm splashing. It's out of control, Captain. She's getting away. All right, here we go. Dressing is almost there. See, I like to sometimes look at the bottom. Look, no chunks. Yay! All right. Bring in your green cabbage and add your red cabbage and your carrot. Get your dressing going on and mix it all together. All right, you want to stir that until everybody gets a little bit of the dressing on them. Okay, almost there. All right. All mixed together. Now, you're 1 step closer to feeding an angry battalion of char who have taken up quarters in your home without your consent. I have an artisan tip for you in those jar. Cut up an apple or two into small cubes and mix it into your slaw. It adds like a unique little flavor and texture to a traditional CHARR-B-Q dish. You want to cut it into little bitty pieces. I go into strips this way. And then keep them really small so they blend in well. We'll be chopping a lot of apples in a little while, but I'll get to that in a minute. All right, it doesn't take much. You just need a little bit of that flavor to get the balance going in here. Add that to your coleslaw right here. There we go. Give that a good mix in. Let me get a little bit of a tang with it. All right, there you go. Now, you want to cover your slaw and put it in the fridge because it's going to cool down and the flavors are going to come together while we prepare the rest of the meal. The longer it sits, the more the flavors just mix together and season up. Speaking of apples, we may eat dessert last. Our cinnamon applesauce recipe is another CHARR-B-Q treat that can be made in advance and cooled in the refrigerator. Let's get sauced. Making applesauce is oh so easy and oh so delicious. But the best sauce, of course, requires the best apples, and those come from the cornucopian fields. Who to buy from? Well, Applejack certainly has the advantage of name recognition, but the best deal is from Milton Book, who, despite his name, does not sell books and may not even know how to read. Mr. Book sells apples in bulk, and today we are making a lot of applesauce. You're going to need approximately 1 apple per serving. Step 1 is the most work. So consider employing a friend or telling an impressionable child that there are bonus experience points at stake. I turn to the script. What can I say? First, you're going to want to peel all of your apples. Core all of your apples. Any merchant will sell an apple core, but mine is called the Black Hole, a legendary apple core I made myself in the Mystic Forge. And once you have a pile of peeled pitted party apples, say that 5 times fast. Anyway, chop your peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples. You get the idea. All right, time to chop. Actually, I can say peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party, ow, apples. We want to chop them up well. All right, chop, get a little chunk going in these, because we're going to cook them down. There we go. Peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples, peeled pitted party apples. Now, for a dozen apples, we're going to need 2 1/4 cups of water, 3/4 cup of white sugar, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Pour that into your pot. And the sugar. And the cinnamon. 1, oh yeah, 2, 3. You can always count clouds of cinnamon instead of teaspoons. All right, let's add our apple to that. All right. Let's give it a bit of a stir. Let's actually use a proper spoon. All right. Num, 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 num. All right. Now we're going to cook all this down together. If you don't have a saucepan big enough for all the apples, divide them and do them in little batches at a time, okay? Now remember to alter the ingredient amounts based on how many servings you're making, all right? Let us pop that onto medium heat. Perfect. We're going to cook it for about 15 minutes. That'll get the apples nice and soft and sweet. Okay, with the apples well on their way, let us go and fry up our second side, garlic spinach sauté. This one's pretty simple. You'll need a clove of garlic, some olive oil, salt and pepper, unsalted butter, and a lemon, and a lot of spinach. If you've never sauteed spinach before, the key thing to know is that it cooks way down. There's not some kind of spell on it, it's just shrinks a lot. So what looks like a lot of spinach makes a lot less than you'd expect. For example, to cook enough spinach for 12 people, you're gonna need about 4.5 pounds of uncooked spinach. Yeah, I said 4.5 pounds. Baby spinach cooks down easier, but full-grown spinach works too. You just may want to cut off the stems. For my money, the best tasting spinach comes from just over the Prevernate Crypt in northern Tyria. Must be that rich soil. Rinse the spinach first, then pat it mostly dry or use a salad spinner. All right, we're gonna take a large saute pan. Behold, heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil. All right, then we take our garlic that we have minced. Let me get that warmed up first. I go with about a medium heat. Okay, let that warm up a little bit first. Warm, warm ye oil, warm. Then we're gonna take our garlic that we've minced into little tiny pieces. Pop it in there. It's gonna start to get warm. All right, and we're gonna saute that in the pan. Now you only need to do this for about a minute before the garlic browns. You're really just kind of getting the flavor of the garlic into the oil so that it cooks into the spinach and soaks it up. All right, now that that's in there, you won't be able to saute all of the spinach at once since there's so much of it, but just keep adding it because it cooks down and you'll get it all in there eventually, okay? So we're gonna stir it in with the oil. Oh, see, that's that sound. I love that sound. All right, I think we can get a lot of this in there. And I like to toss it around. I love that I have to talk over the sizzle. All right, to kind of get some of the flavor of the oil and that garlic on all the pieces of spinach. Okay, there. All right, toss that around. And then you're gonna cover it. I'm gonna let that sit while I track down the lid to this pan. Perfect. All right, I'm going on a lid quest. I'll be back. Dun-da-da-da! I found a lid. All right, I'm gonna cover that. Let it sit for a couple minutes. It'll start to cook down. All right, now you're gonna uncover it. Oh, look at that. It's all wilted down, and you're gonna crank that heat up to high. It's gonna start to wilt a lot and even get crispy at the edges. Just a minute should do. All right, here we go. Can we all count to 60 together? Oh yeah. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's amazing how much this cooked down though. Like, where did it all go? Once that's done, we're gonna kill the heat for a second. We're gonna remove the spinach from the pan. And we're gonna pop it into the bowl. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way because this thing does weigh a ton. All right, oh yeah. Look at that steam, it's gorgeous. All right, and then we're gonna add just a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon. Really brings out the flavors. Mix that up. Now, if you want to add a little richness, a little creaminess to it, then you can add a little butter. It's kind of perfect like it is, but it's good both ways. Now, what we cooked is just a fraction of the spinach we need, so just repeat that process till you're through. You can see it doesn't take very long. It takes just minutes. And if the oil in the pan runs low or all the garlic gets carried away with the spinach, which did happen here, just start from the beginning. It doesn't take but a second. All right, we have our sides. Let's check on our apples. They should be cool by now. All that's left is to smush them, smash them, sauce them. If you have a friend in possession of legendary Hammer the Juggernaut, it's time to call in that favor. Otherwise, we use a fork, a food processor, pastry cutter, whatever's handy. Ooh, oh, when you cook them long enough, they smash up beautifully. Look at this. I mean, gorgeous, right? All right. Once the consistency is to your liking, I like a few chunks in mine. Sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon. Oh, yeah. Oh, or a cloud of cinnamon, whichever way it goes. Smash it up a little bit more to stir it in. All right, cover. Pop it in the fridge till the party's underway. Okay, sides and dessert are complete. If they be our shield, then it is time to forge our sword in the great fires of Grillheim. After a day of marinating, your Minotaur and veggies should be ready for the grill. For skewers, I recommend forging about a dozen Bonetti's rapiers. Or if your supply is running low, standard household skewers will be just fine. Now in making my kebabs, I like to alternate veggies with meat. Veggies with meat. It adds a lot of flavor as they cook. Now I give a little onion base here, and then a piece of meat. And I always keep my softer veggies on the inside. If you're using like tomato or anything like that, it tends to fall apart. Okay, and the veggies help keep the meat in place. You can't get too many roasted onions for me. Oh yeah. Hello, bell pepper, hello. Now obviously, if you're doing veggie skewers, just skip the meat on those skewers. More for me. All right, here we go. And we send them to hang over the abyss. Hang carefully, do not fall into the fires. Not everybody actually has a grill, so we are going to show you how to do it in the broiler under your oven. The kebabs will still get flame-kissed, but with way less hassle and cleanup. You can even fib and say you cooked them by the breath of an elder dragon, and no one is going to be the wiser. Just preheat the broiler to 350 degrees. Here we go. Selecting 350, selecting broil. Just be sure to place the skewers on some tin foil before putting them in the broiler. This way, you're not going to drip down and make a huge stinky mess in your oven. The best part of any CHARR-B-Q is this, the waiting. Because even while you wait for your guests to arrive, you're not waiting alone. Get your old buddy, a bottle of Shiver Peaks Pilsner. Oh yeah. Handcrafted by the finest Norm brewmasters with pure Shiver Peaks spring water. It is a delight when served in a cold glass. Hello, friend. I've been waiting for you all day. By the time you get to the bottom of your beer, the kebab should be perfectly singed. Look at that! Perfect! The ideal kebab is touched with bits of char on the outside and still a tiny bit red on the inside. Oh yeah. That's it! Ring the bell! It is time to eat, drink, and be merry. And tell your friends to help you clean up. This is your home, not a war encampment. For more great recipes, the Guild Wars community has plenty of delicious offerings, so be sure to poke around online. Until next time, I am Chef Jennifer Hale, and this has been a taste of Tyria. And now I will taste. Nom. Oh yes, please. Oh.